Welcome back. Oh, welcome back. Excuse me, I gotta get to the camera. Excuse me. Welcome back to the worm. We got a bit of a problem. I was really hoping to keep my momentum on that kitchen. I want to build that beam today that's gonna hold the top slope. You're knocking me over. You're knocking me over, man. Uh-oh. Somebody's about to be wound up. You can make him run with a well-timed, well-placed snort. We got all these really bizarre corner braces on here. Nice, right? Real nice. It's time to figure out the roof. So we're gonna put a beam across here, which we have to make. So we'll have to measure this out and figure our, I think, 512 pitch for that roof. And then I'm thinking we'll use some log pieces to go up from the corners and hold that whole thing up. The problem is the weather is going to be atrocious. Let's have a quick check and see what it says right now. We shouldn't even be checking. We should just be hauling through because I think we just got today to get done whatever we can. Okay, so we're pretty much clear for the rest of the day. Then overnight, a whole bunch of rain and snow that goes on for the next 3.5 days nonstop. And then we're getting a little far out on the forecast, but 2 days that are decent. And then right now it's saying 5 inches of snow. I love it. I love it. I do love it, but I also want to get stuff done. Man, I can't wait for this ground to freeze. It just starts settling, and then I drive over it a bunch of times with the excavator and it gets all mucked up again. Hopefully that catches. I think before we get going on the project, I gotta get my snow plow down to... Get out of there. Unless it's bombs. Is it bombs? Yeah, I gotta drag the snow plow down to my new parking lot. I didn't really think about that, having built that new road and parking lot and stuff, that I'm gonna have to plow it now. Remember, it used to be I would just rip around here and pack all the trails down. But now I gotta be able to get a car in and out. I don't know. Either way, the plow's gotta be down there, I think. How about you don't ride anywhere today? You're gonna be locked up for 3 days. You better not collapse on the back of the four-wheeler every chance you get. Wonder if it's time yet to take those that board liner out of the trailer. It's only there to move gravel and sand and stuff. Otherwise, it's nice to have them out because when it rains and snows, it goes through the bottom instead of collecting in there. Well, it's not top on the list right now. We can always do it later. Somebody forgot the keys. Well, you get some more exercise. Thinking if we park the plow underneath a tree, maybe it'll be easier to dig out every time. Okay, that's all you gotta do, then you're ready for winter. Jeez, yeah, look at that. One pass. Do you see the dent there? It's like 1 inch or 2 deep. I think I might have to drive this back and forth a bunch of times, even though it's a little late in the season to be doing this. need to do that every time I come down here. Oh wow, yeah. That's a lot better. $12 and a half. The battery died in the camera, but Kuiper took off running, made it all the way back to the other side of the cabin and laid down like he was afraid. I was switching the battery and he came full speed back here and slid in on his belly. Now he's fine. You want to try that again, buddy? Because we all found it pretty entertaining. How dare you turn your back on a tape measure? Is he terrified? If he was, would he just lay right back down facing the other direction? Okay, that's enough, huh? And he's asleep. That dude makes me laugh so much every single day. It's incredible. Okay. 12 and a half. And then the roof's gonna stick out a foot extra in every direction. So we need 13 and a half, 14 and a half, plus a couple inches maybe. We could just go for 15. We definitely don't have any boards that long, so we're gonna have to make a sandwich. How meaty do we need this thing to be? The only other really fat pine boards we're gonna need are the rafters. So those have to be, I think it's 9 feet this way, a foot, and then it's at an angle. So 10, 11, 12 feet. And I think this pile is all 12ers. Yep, 12'3". So those are rafters. I gotta get in this pile to find something for the beam. They're all nicely dried out now, but I do see a couple of piles. So let's see, that was from this board. Yeah, it must have been right there. I could see there's still some creatures living in there. Oh, you know what this is? I don't know if you can see that. It just kind of scuffed here and then a hole through. That was when the boards were just smashed right together. Something burrowed in and then took the path of least resistance, went in between the boards. But I don't see anything now living in here, so who knows? Oh, there's another pile under there. Well, we'll just have to treat them when we put them up there. Try to kill anything that's inside. Story of my ringworm life. These boards have a lot of taper. How about we put fat end to fat end, and then we put a really fat board across the middle, and then some smaller pieces on the other end down there. And then we only trim the top off because that's what the roof boards are going to lay on. And we'll leave all this weird shape and fatness here and whatever on the bottom of the board. Of course, it'll be two boards screwed or bolted together, so you'll see two different bottoms of them, but that might be interesting. So let's put the squirrely aside on the bottom, and we'll trim the top edge off there. As you know, I can be made pretty crazy taking all these boards and trying to fit them together just right, get the most out of them. Since we don't have that much time, we're not going to think it out. We're just going to go ahead and cut that, and somehow we'll make it all fit. Did that scare you? Pretty sure this beam is going to be plenty strong. Well, this is good. I was trying to figure out what on earth I would do with this. I didn't want to throw it out. Ooh, look at all that good resin. We're going to burn that in a minute. Cut the ends off of this. I think we could use them. Oh, look, it's Jurassic Park. There's a beetle completely covered in resin. Is that going to mess up my knife? Nope, it's crispy. Quick, get the syringe. We can make dinosaurs. It's kind of a neat looking piece of wood, so I feel like I should save it, but on the other hand, I really like burning this stuff. Look, it leaked through to the other side. Yeah, let's burn it. Oh yeah, real thick cloud of stank, but nice stank. You can hear it start to rage. Yeah, look at all that stuff right there boiling. Not often you can have a one log or one board fire. It was worth it. Oh, look at that nice fit. I like when one board flows into the other like that. I've got a bunch of charged cabin warmed batteries, and I'm not going to get to use them the next few days, so it doesn't matter if we kill them. I think I'm going to plane some of the garbage look off of all of these. It's kind of fun to do too. You know what I just thought of something else that needs to be done pretty much right away. I need to weld that trailer back together. I almost need to take that in my big trailer to a car wash or something and scrub all the mud off of it. Or just wait for the snow to wear it off of there. It would take a little bit of cleaning to be able to weld that back together. Yeah, that's bad. You know what? That has been broken for quite a while. I kept going to the gravel pit and then going down the steep hill by the shooting range to dump all those billions of loads out in the parking lot. And every time I got going down that steep hill, I'd hear this metallic clank, and I could not figure out what it was. I think it was all the weight had the one side of the axle bent and that metal plate was binding. So I am gonna have to take this whole thing apart in order to fix that. See, I don't even know if I have the right tools to straighten that axle back out. Oh, did you scare yourself? Yeah, I kind of need to do that before everything gets covered in snow too. All right, well, let's finish the beam. Maybe leave it like that, and then when we spray it later, a lot of that rest of that color should come out. Oh man, this is gonna gum up the planer. It's already getting gummy. Yeah, it's pretty crispy. Maybe it'll, I don't know. Maybe we should burn it. No, we can't just go burning everything. Watch this puff of dust. Oh, that'd be kind of fun to put this. Let's try it. We're gonna have to remember this trick next time I find a really goopy one. That's a lot of good burning dust right there. Ooh, I didn't think it was gonna do anything. It takes a minute to take off. Don't set the camera on fire. It's a rule. If only I had a fiddle. There's the bow resin right there. Did find bolts. Is it bombs? Oh, hi. Hello. Can't remember what I got these bolts for. I think maybe it was to fix the sky deck. No way. These are the right size? Dude, what are the chances they're exact? Why did I not use these? Oh, what a great day. Oh, you know what I think is the sky deck already had, just like this, a couple pieces sandwiched together, and then I had to put another plate on it. So it ended up being 3 thick instead of 2. And that's why I didn't use any of these. These are gonna be, I just don't know what to say. Anything you'd like to say? You know what the problem is going to be, trying to get this up there. I guess maybe I could take some of it apart, prop it up there, and then you remember the weird little counterbalance thing I had to do to get one of the beams up in the gazebo? Oh, but that was trying to get the whole beam to fall down on some pre-cut upright logs. Oh man, I don't just have to get this up there. I then have to make legs and get it on top of the legs. You know what I found? You're going to be surprised to hear this, but just don't think about it. Or maybe I didn't use these because they were a ½ inch longer than they needed to be. This is probably kind of a overkill tool. Maybe we'll turn it down so we don't rip it all the way through the board. Yep, doesn't take much. You know, I got 6 left. 4, 5. Oh, yeah, we have to do it. Just put it right in the center so it looks like an X. And then people will know where they are. Because X mark. Never mind. Somebody help. I'm locked in indecision. I got 2 more hours of light and then rain. I want to keep hammering away at this, but y'all know how screwed I'd be if I didn't have that trailer. So I feel like I should pause on this and work on that, but it works right now. If I take it apart and run out of time, like in the next 2 hours, and it's in pieces, and I can't put it back together, I'll be hosed. I guess now I'm a lot closer to the car, so I could load stuff on the 4-wheeler like ye olden days and do 100 trips if I had to get water or propane or something, groceries. Let's just take a little bit apart and see what's busted. Where did you come running? Oh, oh man, you are so muddy. Could you remove your giant paws from my seat, please? Thank you. My father would be very happy to know that I always put my tools away in between each project or stage of a project. They all have to have their home. Wonder how many more years I'm going to get out of this trailer. See, that's the problem right there. I think I've mentioned this before, but when I'm moving gravel, I would love to not have these bars in the way. just because you're trying to get the digger in and out of here and move it quickly. But the holes fill up with rocks and gravel, and then you can't get these back in, and it's very difficult to clean those back out. So I always keep these in here when I'm scooping gravel, yet this thing only fits in halfway there and all the way there, so these things end up getting bent and all messed up. And I think it's like this, there's a little bit of dirt back there, you pull this out and just a little bit falls in time and time again. But holy moly, are these things, all of them just bent in all sorts of weird ways from hitting it with the digger. I make sure to always edit that part out because, you know, I want you guys to think I'm a real professional. Oh yeah, it's full right to there, and that piece of steel goes all the way down that pocket. It's been on my list whenever I get my 3D printer out again to 3D print some caps for all these. But a guy just can't get around to everything. Right. I've never had paint that you have to shake to get a little bit out. Not gonna be able to leave it like that. You can watch it bleed off. I noticed we're gonna have to weld this. Remember this broke not too long ago? I put some new bolts in it. They're super jackified now. The entire thing has to be taken apart. This has to come off, which is fine because we could weld that. It goes back to the axle. Pull that out. And this entire side panel here that holds the basket together has to come off there in order to get to this thing and the end of the axle. I don't know what to do. There's definitely not time to work on this, and I don't have any place outside to work on stuff. I could almost put a tarp over the kitchen. Oh man, if I just had the beam up there, I could totally pull a tarp on the entire thing. I don't even have time to do that though. You know what? The axle might not be bent. Let's look at, now that the weight's off here, this busted thing lines back up. This is going to prove to you that I am not a good YouTuber. I'm going to show you how dumb I am. One thing I like about this is this wiggle, because you can, when you have the trailer fully loaded, you can unhook this from the four-wheeler, and without having to twist the entire trailer to put this down, or you can just kind of scooch this out of the way and set it down. But you know what I'm seeing right now? This whole time this has been put together wrong, which absolutely makes sense now that I look at it. This looks ridiculous. I must have just thought these were the same size. I was thinking about maybe trying to make a sleeve like that and cutting these off. These are different sizes. This is clearly supposed to go inside there. I wonder where else I went wrong with the bolts, because I didn't end up with extra or the wrong size bolts for anything. But clearly you don't need super long ones if this is tucked in there. Anyway, I'm an idiot. It's good that you know that up front after 5, 6, 7, however many years of doing this. I'm sure I hid it well from you, but now it's out there. Well, it's a plus that this should be a really fast fix if I have the right size bolts for that. And we need to be speedy right now, but it's a minus because I was really looking forward to welding that. think my supposition's right. Oh man, they're so blasted out in there, these bolt holes, that I bet this won't even slide in there anymore. Oh yeah, that's gonna take a lot of grinding. These bolt holes are just mushroomed in there. Isn't there a Ryobi power tool for this? Yeah. Anybody know what this is? Some kind of cool anchor. Clearly you crank this down and this mushrooms out. It was in my bolt bin. It's the only bolt that's the right size to do this. They're very cool. They seem like they'd be expensive. I'd definitely use that for something. Look at that, would ya? That's how it's supposed to be put together. A little bit long, but that's all I got. That was way too easy. There it is. Well, we're about out of light, so maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I know, I can sing you a song tomorrow. It's called, let's see, how does it go? Yeah. I'm welding in the rain. Oh, Ryan, you shouldn't do that. It's dangerous. Okay, quick. Between raindrops. Finish the trailer, chase the dog. That's all we got to do. What? Uh-oh. I think that's the biggest one I got. Maybe it won't take that much impacting. Look at that. That's the biggest one I have. It's rusty grease, but there's grease in there. The tires don't rotate on this. Wow, yeah, that should have been extra greased. They just kind of tip on there. It's not bent because it doesn't go all the way through. It's just pinned in right there. Maybe for the heck of it, we'll flip it over though. Bend it the other way. I guess we don't even need to pull it out, do we? Just flip it over. Yeah, now it's perfectly straight. I think that's just a plate we can take off and weld. Oh, look at that. That's how you want to do it. That's perfect. Oh boy, it's about to start sprinkling. We gotta go fast. We gotta go fast. Don't you think this is probably the smallest power plus welding setup you could have? Take this sucker anywhere. Woo! That burned through my glove. Careful now. I think we're gonna get it done before it rains. Nope, I was wrong, it's raining. Ah, crap. I guess we can keep working so long as we don't get electrocuted. We're gonna have one side of this thing that really pivots nicely. You know what? These have not ever been greased. I didn't know there was a zert on the bottom. Like you'd have to crawl underneath to even see that thing. Oh, see? That's just something. That's great, even without grease. We only have to do this a couple times every 10 years. I just looked at the manual. We did it. I don't know how I was able to stay out here this long without a welder. We sure don't want it to drip. Or, oh yeah, I guess we don't care, do we? If you cover it with mud right away, can't even tell. Done this about every year. Flip the thing upside down and take that nasty old drill bit and just drill the dirt out of here. I don't know how to clean this out. Need like a power washer might do it. Look at that stuff. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh, now I see how it's getting in there. Around these creases. It's still sneaking in. Well, maybe the snow and rain will get rid of it. Now's not pet time. Your problem. Whoa, this one is crazy folded. Whatever. Yeah, we still got a little wiggle to it. That's better than nothing. 23.78. 412 pitch. Not quite. Something weirder than that. Yeah, that's a 3.5 12 pitch. I wonder why it would have been that. That's pretty weird. Let's see if it's the same pitch as the top of the cabin. It's kind of hard to tell. Looks like it might be a little less. I know I go through this every time I build something. Gotta have a high enough pitch so the water doesn't run back up under the shingles, which I probably don't have for this. Let's see what we got for shingles. Oh, let's see if the dirt has, yep, washed out of the porcupine skull. It sure has. Cray cray. That dude's freaky looking. I bet there's not enough under here to do a whole roof. Nope. Couple of packs and they probably don't match. The doghouse is 3.5 12. It should be fine. We'll do 412. Are you following me? Feels like you're always following me everywhere I go. So that's 9 feet. 412 times 9. So we gotta go, oh, that's nice. It's only 3 feet up, so we need like 3 foot, ooh, like 2 foot logs. That looks like about a foot, yep. So we just need like 2 2-foot logs. It's too bad I just burned those. I burned a couple perfect logs and I took a couple perfect logs down to set the snow plow on. So now we're gonna have to go searching. Make them about, I don't know, 7 inches fat to sit on top of there. I'm sure we must have some chunks of something around here. I was gonna say we could cut the end off a milling log, but we don't really have that much cedar. Ooh, that's nice and already peeled. Looks a little funky. Nope, that's good. Holy moly, where'd this pine log come from? Didn't even see this back here. That is huge. I bet this was set aside for countertop, you know, because it's super curved like that. Except didn't we already mill up all the stuff for the countertops? Yeah, we did. We milled up all that cedar, and there's a huge curved cedar that I didn't even see in there. I really wanted to make the main countertop in there curved just with the log, but I think we forgot about that. I don't know, maybe we didn't. Maybe some of the stuff we already milled up for the counters was curved. I can't remember. All right, want to see me break my wrists on top of a ladder? That's the biggest one of those I got too. This is exactly what you sometimes need a giant bit for. Countersinking. Yep, I think that's enough. Flatten that off with the chainsaw. That should work. You know, since these logs don't really stick out far enough, I think one or the other of them was a little bit too short. We're gonna have to set this whole thing back in there a little bit. Can't balance it right in line with this one. I really want to clean this floor somehow. Oh, that'd be so fun. I wonder if there's like a draw. I need a giant ulu, like a flattish ulu, and just scrape the floor. Yeah, we're gonna have to finish this floor at some point. I think I want this to look kind of nice. Maybe in the springtime we'll do it somehow. You know what? I think I know why that doghouse roof isn't 412. You got 9 feet this way, so you got to go up 3 feet this way, and that will actually be the tip top of the roof. But it comes down, and then you have the entire thick tallness of the rafter sitting on top of there. So that right there is not the actual height of the roof. And when you have a really long, big roof like this, it doesn't make any difference. You're going to come out really close to a 412. But if you've got a bitty roof like that, just that little bit, yeah, I bet that's what happened. We already milled the rafters, but again, I don't know how huge they're going to be. Maybe we should just randomly stick on a couple more inches on the logs. It'll still be plenty easy to walk on. Even if we got 512, I think that'd be fine. Let's go 2.5. This is pretty good. Beautiful. Little offset, that's fantastic. That's how the professionals do it. I don't really have any way to attach this right now, so just do this so it doesn't tip over. Uh-oh. Something's not flat. That's it. What is going on? I just flattened this one. That's more like it. Since I have a habit of never eating lunch, I started eating a lot more junk food. But you know what Pop-Tarts has now? Protein Pop-Tart, which means it's healthy. It's like grabbing big handfuls of raw broccoli and shoving it in your face. You know, the crazy thing is, these actually taste better. Good job, buddy. That's the perfect howl from you. Slightly manly, but mostly like a goofball. Maybe if you got some of that mud out of your nose, it'd sound even manlier. Uh-oh, it is getting dark. Yeah, we got half an hour. Okay, we just need to make these cuts. How the heck do you finish this? Pretty scary. He is afraid of everything, but one time we were out walking through the woods back here and saw some people way out there, and he was not having any of it. He got up in front of me and I've never heard him growl like that. I sure hope nobody ever comes walking through the woods here, because, well, I'd be afraid of a dog that big growling and running at me. Maybe we gotta spray paint his white and brown so he looks like a bear. We beat the rain. Tell me that doesn't look kind of cool. I mean, it is actually quite heavy. Yeah, baby. I don't have the strength I once had, and I don't like it. I think it's basically done like that. Keep you out of the rain and all the rest of the stuff. Am I doing this right? Oh. Can you leave me alone? We only have a couple hours. We need to work. What's that? Okay, well. So loud. Look at this stinking blue sky. I wasn't gonna come out here. We got so much rain. Yeah, you know, the thing is, I just didn't want him in this much mud. A lot of the water soaked in, but it's gonna be mucky. I was thinking about just leaving him in the cabin, running out here in between rainstorms, putting that beam up here, but then this morning when I woke up, all of a sudden, popped into my head. Well, here, come look. Ugh. Yeah. Oh boy, you stay up there till we're done, okay? You already got nasty mud paws. Yeah, so muddy. I don't know if it's needed, but I would like to be able to put another log here in the middle, and it's going to be way easier to trim the bottom of that beam now. I think we ought to take that down and just do it real quick, like then put it up there and screw it in. I don't think we're actually going to put a log there right now because there's a good chance, as always, this is going to have to come down for something. But I bet we eventually end up with a middle support. And if we keep our eyes out, maybe we can find something bizarre. Blah, blah, blah. With those weirdo things, I think we want a log, big fat one that goes up, and then have a branch that like curves out of it. Ooh, that would be really cool to hang a lantern from. Speaking of which, I just remembered that I've been planning to build this kitchen since before I actually had the property, and was collecting stuff back then for it. Somewhere in a box I have a brand new propane lantern and a splitter and a hose to go to a 20-pound can. So I think the double burner camp stove is going to run off that bottle. Another one to weave through, if we could find that. Something with a extra limb, an arm on it, we could hang the propane lantern from there, and that would light up the whole thing. It's getting good, isn't it? It is. You know what? With all those bolts sticking out of there, I think I'm putting a helmet on because I can see getting this up there and it tipping off. Going right through my dumb skull. Oh no. These stupid things are going to be in the way. I guess we'll try it and see what happens. I don't think I can curl this. That is like the perfect safety brace right there. Conforms right to the shin. I wish I knew if this was going to clear when I try to lift it up there. I don't think I could even measure that though. Oh, come on, don't tip over. Oh, that is gonna like touch. Wow. Check this out. It's touching, but not pushing. You could not plan that. Let's see the other one. What the hey? Touching, but not pressing. That is, they're both like to the millimeter. How's that possible? Now, the only thing I don't really want to check, yep. See, there's a crack there. It's less than 1/4 of an inch. It'd be good to flatten this side down a little bit, but on the other hand, it's so little that over time I think it will sink in there. Let's go back and look at the other side. Like 16th or something. I'd say that's pretty good fit for the tools I'm using. I think there's a better chance of me trying to take this down to fix it and getting hurt somehow than it's worth. Over the course of this entire building project, that little bit's not going to make any difference. I'm leaving it. Wow, can you believe that? But now that they're that close, I kind of wish I'd had them 1 inch longer and I could have trimmed it right to the board. But I would have got hurt doing that too. I think we're incredibly lucky that it worked out like it did. And what's this light hitting my face from the sky? It's sunny. Look at that, it's like noon. That's as high as the sun gets. That's the peak right now. This is why you got to take advantage of every second of sunlight you can. A lot of these bolts are going to be in the way when the rafters hook into it. We'll just have to figure that out as we go. There are two rafters. We know where they're going to be. They're going to be right on top of the log uprights there, and luckily no bolt right there. So it's going to go from there. Oh yeah, it's going to sit on top of that, and we're going to have the same issue again. There's two big lag screws in there, so we'll have to sink those and flatten the top off. Oh no, top of the log's already flat, so we might just have to countersink that one. Dang, this thing looks pretty rad all of a sudden. I like it. It's so fun when you do this kind of stuff with no plans. You just end up with something that's so much weirder and more satisfying than if you had everything sketched out ahead of time. Like, how would you end up with logs like that? Well, I guess most people are doing this with store-bought lumber, so that's not even an option. But I don't even think this thing's gonna need to be bolted on. I think it's just gonna sit there. Word. Well, ooh, yeah, the black clouds are rolling back in. I think that's it for a couple days. Thanks for watching. See you next weekend. With any luck, we'll be digging out of 5 feet of snow. We'll be plowing everything and get the dog sled out, maybe put up some rafters, who knows. Thanks guys. Thanks for being here and keeping me entertained. See you next Saturday. Oh, yes.